any position you should be able to work on the, in laboratory. It should be very easy, otherwise what happens, pulling pipettes from very long distance, you need to pull yourself. Doing that, sometimes you will spill something here and there, something fall down. Like one pipette, if it is falling down from 2 feet, definitely it is getting to have problems in it. So it should be very much easy to handle everything sitting there. Preferably in like these positions, if you are having nowadays modular furniture, most of the labs use, and they are having very little space in between. You can stand, like you can pull your legs and all that. It is not possible many times. A lot of drawers and racks, so it becomes very difficult. So you should habitually you can make changes in position. That can be done in this way. If you are having such tire system, it is nicely you can take your chemical and it should be handy. So you can miss the things. Then what are the minimum requirements, I will tell you. When somebody is talking about biotechnology, that we think very few things should be required there. It's not in that case. Like you require minimum things should be like on autoclave, you should have ice motion, ice flakers. Then you should have one nice quality pH meter, very essential. pH meter reading should be at least 4 digit after point, at least. Because when you are preparing, if somebody is asking like prepare a solution of 8.2, so 8.2 means again 8.29 may be there. So it affects a big way. So that's why at least you should have 4 digits, like 8.000 or 8.2000. So it will give a good result. It will not, source of your problem in preparation. And sometimes what happens, your pH is like you are managing like 8.2, you are assuming. But if you are having 8.9, then 2-3 days what will happen when you will open or close? So, due to oxidation and all that, maybe it can rise to certain level, later stage. That you will never know. We are very much habitual, like every day you don't want to prepare buffers, and because this is a tiring situation. So once you prepare buffer, that means you want to use it forever. This is a usual mentality students carry. And then putting labels also, we are very much less bothered about putting labels. Whatever buffer, whatever solution you will prepare, always keep a name, your name, date, and what chemicals you used. Keep a track of that on every bottle. Otherwise, you see many labs, you are having so dirty bottles. Everyone has used to write something all directions. So it should not. Like every time when you are preparing something, clean it perfectly, and then put a fresh label on that. So that will give, and you usually avoid labels by the marker pens. Because handling, sometimes I wipe my hands and I will hold bottle with that hand. So all that, wherever I am touching, so that label will go off. So for that purpose, make a habit to have stickables, so that can last for a long time, and use pencils, thick pencils you can use for writing labels on the bottles. Then like you should have this small handy your spin down. Then you should have one desktop like 14,000 something RPM, because in DNA isolation or whatever DNA you are obtaining, 14,000 RPM is enough. So no need to have more than that. If you are having like such type of this dry bath, biggest source of contamination in biotech lab is the wet, like water bath. Lot of labs still use water bath. They are having like, they put water and in that you are suspending like floating your tubes. It will spoil your labels definitely. Otherwise, sometimes what happens, due to temperature, sometimes it bump up and it opens. Then your water becomes so dirty. Lot of bacteria you will see in your buffer. And everyone wants that others should do cleaning. Removing water, because every water bath is not less than like 50 kg weight. So 2-3 people required. And taking whole water out of that is impossible. So sometimes it happens like when you put water bath in your lab, till it got wasted, till that nobody touches it to take out from the lab. Temperature calibration is very difficult in water bath. Many water bath, whatever we are indigenously using, their calibration is very tough. And that's why that is a big source for contamination. Such type of dry water bath are very handy nowadays and not expensive, like 20-25,000 you will get a 96 water, but digital, very accurate, like 0.1 degree is also you can manage it that. So this is a good thing. So no contamination, no big space, and accuracy also you can get. You can have such type of shakers also available nowadays already. For example, you are doing in 96 format, so such editing shakers also perfectly work. So small things can change a big scenario. Such type of again many fuses. And one big thing, cause of failure in molecular biology, the biotech lab is a spectrophotometer. Still people are tempting to purchase this spectrophotometer which are having the cuvettes. That to 1 ml. So when you are taking DNA, every time you need to go calculate. Many students, biological students, that is our biggest weakness, including everyone here. You must agree. We are very weak in calculations. So every time making 96 sample and then putting dilution factor and again going back and taking it, every time cleaning your cuvette perfectly, it never happens. Instead of that, these nano drops are wonderful devices. It will, one touch it will give all calculation. In your cuvette best, you need to calculate 260 to 80 ratio. You need to calculate other ratios. Then you need to calculate your percentage, conversion factors, and it becomes very difficult. These are very nice machines. In one touch, it will give all readings in a one table format, and that can be preserved forever. Even you can keep it record by taking print and based on your laboratory workbook, scrapbook. So that is pretty possible. But using cuvette based is very difficult. But who don't have access to such, then there is no way. But with cuvette based, make a habit at a time. Don't go more than 25, 24. Because we will lose your concentration, and your machine also, if beam will, due to temperature, it will have more absorbance. And cuvettes also, many times we feel like it should last for whole life. Every time when you are putting, you are having certain scratches or something on it. So to avoid this, it is important. Then what standard you are using, that is also a big question. Disposing remaining things. So it is a big source of contamination. Then another, like, small setup of your electrophoresis is enough. 2-3 devices for this one, electrophoresis. You may have certain type of different machines you can use. One single machine based laboratory will never sustain, to be very frank with you. What will happen to your PCR machine next moment, no one can predict. So it always to have 1-2 machines with you. Sometimes calibrations go off and you never come to know. 2 times I faced one big problem. Once I was in CCMB, and we were having 2 machines there. So one machine was very much dedicated, and the scientist who was using that, he was not allowing to touch it. And another machine was for common to working with all students and all that. And we were working on that, and one day suddenly we were not getting results. Lot of things did. Everyone was playing with machine. Like everyone was going with the protocols and not getting results. Almost 6-7 days we wasted. And communication always, in Indian scenario I observed, students never communicate each other. This machine is having problem. He will just go on watching, he is going to fail, but he will never go and tell you, don't use that machine. And even sometimes somebody used to tell you, okay, don't work with machine, you don't trust on that. Commonly it happens in our laboratories here. So we were not knowing what happened, and actually one newcomer was there, so he changed whole programs while playing with the machine. It was a touch screen. So he was just playing with the programs and he changed little bit, and he was not knowing what he did. And that's why a lot of us, 3-4 people, we wasted our lot of reactions. Actually, it is our mindset, like, I'm going morning, immediately I will take samples, I will go for machine, immediately. For that, usually we rush. Once I will do PCR and then I will check, by the time 2 o'clock definitely appears. And after 2 o'clock, I am not in mindset to go and do something. So usually one day one reaction, usually most of the students do. And in that also, if you are not getting results, then that day you will never touch machine, and even you don't want to look at your samples. You will just take off and you will go away lab, and then you will chit chat friends to get relaxed. So one should always, when you are working with a high throughput lab, so make a habit, like at least 2-3 programs you should do in a day. And that's why if you are having multiple machines, it is of use, because something I am not getting, I can use another machine, and then I can confirm that something problem with the machine, because all the time we don't have calibration, drives and all that with the PCR. So these machines, newcomers should not be handled. Make a rule in your laboratory that new people are coming now, whatever expert he is having, expertise, but don't allow to use your machines, because there are potential chances he can make some blunders and whole laboratory face for it. Sometimes it happens like you are using your milli-Q and water purification systems. We are so used to like just go and put the button and take water and go away. Never used to look at the screen, what conductivity it is showing. If it is little bit dry, like 1.8 should be there. Sorry, not 1.8, 18 ohms it should be. If it is below that, so your pH, everything will change. And it is so sensitive, your PCR and even isolation reactions are so sensitive for that. So there also one should be careful. Sometimes what happen, old your milli-Q system, so the screens you can't see properly. And we forget like consumables are there. It requires consumables, you need to change something. Many times it happens, the consumables are expensive. And ordinary washing purpose also, sometimes students used to take the milli-Q water. They never value. milk water, if you want to, like if you are having a biopack and you are using that, so that water may cost like 1700 per liter if you want to purchase from market. So why don't we should value it? Because whenever I am using machine, I should at least in a week I should clean for chlorinity, I should clean for pH. There are options on the machine. If your screen is not working, then no use of using that water from the milk, because your conductance is very much important criteria. That shows all properties. So regular maintenance can enhance the life of your cleaning filters, the first filter. So that is also important, and where you can minimize your failures. So very few things we need to take care. Small things can make big blunders, and big losses can happen to your laboratory. Wastage of manpower, wastage of chemicals, power, everything, and then finally your supervisor starts shouting on you, and then the conflict starts from there. Then my supervisor is not cooperative. Then you start shouting everywhere. यार आज के बहुत उसने बोले मुझे ऐसा बोल दिया like you start murmuring, and it give bad name to yourself, your teacher, your laboratory, everything get famous as a bad people. So understand, because supervisor have limited resources. When he is valuing like one tube you are throwing, it costs like 1 or 2 rupees almost. So he is having chemical budget in one project, whatever project he is getting, more than 30% they never give for your consumables, including chemicals. Molecular biology, like if I am buying even agarose, so 100 gram agarose may cost 6,000 rupees. And then if you are rubbishly taking it and throwing it, then all your weighing balance is dirty. Lot of things happening. Sometimes while preparing your master mixes, you forget what I put and what I don't. Straightway, lot of students they throw the master mix pot. Like 1 unit of your protein SK or 1 unit of your DNTPs is almost 3 rupees. 1 unit DNTPs. Your tag polymer is 3.5 rupees. So you are making a master mix. So for 10 reaction you are wasting like 30 rupees, 35 rupees. So you never value that, because you are not paying it from your pocket. Somebody is paying for that. One should always keep in mind, somebody is paying for all these chemicals, and you can maximize use of it. Then in freeze, this is the biggest source of conflict in lab. The storage. Always students complain about each other. Sometimes they complain among them, and later stages they used to go and scratch head of supervisors. Like this sir, he always is very careless. Everyone says the others are careless in the lab. And such type of situations you will see. Huge samples stored in the freeze. Even if you touch something, 10, 15 things will fall down. So there should be a big management. One should always follow it, and in consultation with supervisor, everyone should value each other, respect each other's work. So these racks, if possible, allow each rack to everyone. Even though if you do that, it will last for 1 week, not more than that it happens. But try to make a rule like I will not touch others' things. You must be knowing one story was published in Nature, sabotage, 2 years back. He was, his name was, he's an Indian student working in Washington, and Bharigu is his name, surname. So he was a postdoctoral student, and typical mindset he carried there only. He was not getting results, and his colleague, she was having wonderful results, and she was about to communicate for publication. Then he was feeling inferior. She is publishing and I don't have anything in my hand. And then one super idea came to his mind. He started poisoning her samples. And she was surprised because she was at the stage of, the manuscript was almost finished and she was just aligning with the journals. In the journal format she was turning. And she felt like something is wrong with my samples. Then she was going back and looking images like, your Western blots and all that. So surprisingly, she was having something else. So she was horrified, and then she became alert, and she put one spy cam. And after keeping the spy cam, she informed, this is published in Nature. You just search sabotage. So spy cam, she started then talking, I am going to publish this, I am having this sample in this freeze, likewise. And this guy was carefully, without showing, he was carefully putting attention. And he started again doing that, and he didn't caught. So, there was a big charge being set against him. And even the supervisor in university, everyone came into action. And the suit was huge, like few $1,000s. And then he been policed and many things happened. So here also we are not doing usually this spy and all that, because many times we forgive each other. But just imagine you are wasting someone's life in doing such things. It happens very commonly, and why it happens? This guy was not doing proper experimentation. That's why he was lagging behind. So pulling somebody back is not a way to go ahead. And all these things are associated with lab management. If you are perfect in your experimentation, you need not bother. And science, science is always with a manner you need to do, and with a particular theory you need to do. It doesn't mean that you should go and do something else with others and then go ahead. So all these things are associated with these small things in laboratory management. Then freezers also in laboratory you should have one ordinary one at home. At home we are using such freezers for regular works, and one should be like -20, 30. So this is enough. In that, if you are having some expensive chemicals, like many times what happens, your PCR reagents. If you are having a sequencing facility in sequencing reagents, very expensive. Like in your PCR, you can't predict, looking at it, you can't predict whether it is degraded or not. And sometimes reactions immediately suddenly stop. So if you are putting everything in one freeze, and sometimes something goes wrong. So whole laboratory can spoil. So for that purpose, if you are having smaller freezers, like essential things you can keep in one and make one in charge. So everyone should consult him and take whatever he required from him. And like aliquot and all that is good practice in PCR. But it happens several times in PCR reactions. Like even your DNA, if you repeatedly thaw and freeze, you start degradation, and your results hamper, essential. In case of your primers, don't thaw and too much time. If you thaw and freeze it, so definitely they get spoiled. So you need to be intelligent in your experimentation. Like when you are doing a troubleshoot, like first you want to set a protocol. So take small aliquot and then set it first. And once you are confirmed, like I am having no issue now, then you can go with your big master mixes and finish it as soon as possible. So that repeatedly you should not go and take your master mixes. Certain cryoprotectants are also there nowadays. If your lab is high throughput, you can use 96 formats. Or at least not 96, you can use intelligently 8 or 12 strips, PCR strips. So that at least you can have, and you can put most of the things in that. If you are having cryoprotectant, prepare a master mix nicely without adding your primers. All things should be ready, and divide it into your strips. So whenever required, you can take it. and you can add. If you are doing the similar experiment, even your primers can be added at one time. So it can, stop your spoilages. And maximum time you can use your primers. Then always things to remember in the lab, like always clean the lab. So this is one disputing thing. Like everyone want, like I am doing all the time, I am doing clean. Everyone thinks that he is only doing the things in the lab. Others are not doing anything. But to make a habit, like you can have a schedule, like weekly we can do this one, do next time we will do in this way. Hand gloves, before starts the lab work. Importantly, in biotechnology lab, this is very important because we are not habitual. Sometimes people, wear hand gloves and walk whole campus of the department. Many of them. If you are having elevators and all that, he will go with that, and he will push button with hand gloves. Other people watching at you like, what you are doing? You are handling many chemicals and putting your hands on there. Now I want to get down at second, third floor, and I don't have hand gloves. So what is use of using your hand gloves and troubling others? Sometimes you should know that, like when you are putting hand gloves off, you are inverting it. Then next will come and he will put inverted, like in the same format. So make a rule, like hand gloves are also expensive, like 12 rupees a pair. You are like powder free. So such time it is not necessary always you throw it. At least one day you can use your hand gloves. Make a rule in that way. If you are doing a little work, so be judicious. Keep them into one rack. You should have racks for everyone. You can have racks, small, acrylic racks can be purchased. So you can make a rule, like in this way I will keep here. So other cross contamination not happen, and even it is a potential source for having some infections also to each other. If you are handling substances like ethidium bromide, so it's dangerous. You can put anybody's life to trade. So that can be, think over. Use separate pipettes. Pipettes are not versatile like you. A lot of people know whatever he will find, he will take without thinking and just go on playing with his samples. This is the pipette is the heart of laboratory. So pipette are also not universal. Like once I bought means bought, finished. I need not think for whole life. Pipette should be calibrated in throughput, high throughput laboratories. Pipette should be calibrated at least once in a month. But many laboratories, they don't know how to do that. Even the intelligent students know, if you demonstrate them, they can do perfectly. It's not a big deal in calibration because they are giving you small measuring cylinders and all that they are having along with the pipettes. Pipettes, one should not think about saving the cost in pipettes because inferior quality pipettes definitely make you to pay 3 to 4 times more than what you are saving in failing the reactions. So pipettes should be of good quality. Usually, based on our experience, we are using Wilson is the good pipette, long lasting. Then another like Biorad also having nice pipettes. Dependog also good pipettes. So use good brands of pipettes, and that should be like when you are using a lot of organometric design is important in pipette because when you are handling a lot of time, some students they are having arm pain and all that. It happens, and usually for girl students this is very common because if you need to put more pressure every time on the its trigger, so every time you will go on pushing this, and that's why it will create whole pressure on your arm. So nowadays very nice gentle pipettes like a feather touch. So these pipettes are good. Then in pipetting also some students unnecessary what will do, they will hold it and tuck, they will make noise. Why what is use of doing that? It is very commonly observed thing. So that should not be because every time you are putting cylinder back and forth. So there will be friction and it will have definitely gaps, air gaps. Another thing, unnecessary why to play with that? It makes noise, sometimes just for sake of playing, students play with that. You are ruining the life of the pipette. Then third thing, pipettes, like how to keep pipettes. Don't throw here and there. Always your stand should be there because something enters into the cylinder, so it will start corroding it. And you never realize when it will spoil. Then there are 2 stages in the pipette. Lot of students can't sense that. And usually this happens with the boys. If with the hefty boys usually, they don't sense the stages. So one should take care of that. When supervisor is employing someone else, you need to be very careful in initial steps. They can't send the small, you need to employ small more force in pushing down everything in your team. But for usually it not happen. But sometimes while taking aspirating also it will push everything, and then you will get 3-4 times volume what you require, more than that what you require, and then result is finally fail. Then pipettes like PCR is a very sensitive. If I am having plate like this, holding like this, and if I am talking like this also, this is a good source to spoil everything. So it's very sensitive. That's why pipette should be separate, and one should every day it should be wiped off after doing my works and kept on the proper place. So usually platform also for PCR should be different platforms. Don't use the same place where you are using your DNA isolation, because DNA isolation is like a butcher's place where you do a lot of many times peeling, you sample your scissors, many things. So that's why you usually avoid that. And in case of some laboratory you are working with mRNA or something, that area should never be accessible to others, and never you should keep other things there. Then prescribed precautions in handling the chemicals also very much essential. Whenever new lab member is joining, so he should be aware like these are the hazardous things we are using. Like phenol-like things. When somebody is using phenol, whole laboratory will have nice sense of phenol. The clothes, everything. When he's coming out, also people can sense he was working in the lab. So don't make aware others that you are working in the lab like phenol smell. So also disposing phenol, keep a separate waste boxes, waste containers, because phenol is very seriously can affect your health. Cancer generating agent. Then cleaning the platforms also very important. Like when you are starting work, at least put few drops of ethanol and wipe it nicely with the sterile paper. So it will give you good energy also, and lot of things will be, you feel like everything is clean. So no fear in mind. Now we will start with the PCR protocol. DNA isolation protocol. Although DNA isolation is a basic process, very basic, but if you do some problems in this step, your whole whatever you are going to do, even your whatever high-end application or just a primary application, either you do RFID or you can go for whole genome. DNA isolation is a focal point. Mistakes happen here will give headache to all the steps associated till your publication. You will have a lot of issues associated with that. So that although it is primary, but give a more focus and consider this to be a prime step in your experimentation. Good quality DNA will always very nicely help you in all steps till your publication. Then various commercial kits are available in the market. So much expensive. I think in our situation or funding pattern in India, we don't feel most of us can afford these kits. Very expensive. So why not we should go with homemade recipes for protocol. Lot of things we should keep in mind. DNA isolation, what we are doing, we are just throwing everything and picking DNA. This is the principle. So throwing everything means first is we need to give opportunity to enter inside the cell some chemicals so that they should separate everything from your DNA. DNA is very nicely packed with substance like some very nice your proteins which are tightly winding DNA around them in chromosomes. So that protein we need to gently take away. Another thing, like whatever subcellular molecules you are having, we need to disrupt them. And mechanical disruption is not possible there. So chemical disruption we are using. So here we should understand the principle. Like we need to first swell the cell and bust it out. So process of osmosis we are using. We must use like salt-like solutions so they can have reverse osmosis process and it can send lot of water inside and burst the cell. The second thing, take out the protein. So for protein we are using protein precipitation in case of animals. So if you add little bit, all type of commercial kits are having more proteinase cake. That's it. Their formula is only protein escape. We are using like 3 microliter protein.